Hello and welcome to Sleepy Science Story, where the world softens, thoughts drift like dandelion seeds, and science becomes a lullaby for your mind. Whether you're listening from the coziest corner of your couch, tucked beneath a mountain of blankets, or just letting your eyes grow heavy, you've found your way to a gentle place, a place where curiosity can relax. Tonight, we're going to tiptoe through 100 dreamy science facts about sleep and the sleeping universe. But don't worry, there's no exam at the end, and if you drift off before fact number 10, I'll consider that a job well done. This is your time to unwind, to let the day fall away, and to discover that the world of sleep is even stranger and more wonderful than you might have guessed. Before we begin our gentle journey, I'd love to know, where in the world are you listening from tonight? And what's the bedtime sky like above you? Let me know in the comments if you're awake enough. And if you find comfort in these calm explorations, a gentle like and a soft tap on subscribe would mean the world. Thank you to everyone who's already a part of this dreamy, sleepy corner. Now, let's take a deep breath, not to fill your lungs with cosmic insight just yet, but to welcome in a little stillness. Because the science of sleep is as vast as the universe itself, and tonight we're going to float through both. As night drifts softly in and the outside world hushes, the oldest mystery of all floats to the surface. Why do we sleep? It seems so simple, so ordinary, yet the science of slumber remains one of the universe's most enchanting riddles. Every creature, from the quietest mouse curled beneath the floorboards to the tallest giraffe swaying gently under the moon, finds its own time to close its eyes and surrender, to rest. Even now, as you listen and your own body settles into comfort, tiny signals flicker behind your eyelids, preparing you for a journey deeper than you might expect. The need for sleep is stitched into the fabric of life itself. Biologists will tell you that sleep is when the body repairs its cells, rebuilds muscle, and recharges for another day. But that explanation barely scratches the surface. Picture your body as a little laboratory, humming with invisible activity long after the sun has gone down. Each night, the science of sleep quietly gets to work, patching up little bits of wear and tear, sorting through memories like a librarian putting books back on their shelves, and even running gentle maintenance checks on your immune system. While you drift between dreaming and waking, your heart slows its rhythm and your breath grows steady, as if the whole body is practicing the art of stillness. What's truly fascinating is that sleep is not just for bodies, but for minds. As your eyes close, the brain begins a kind of nightly housekeeping. It sifts through the clutter of the day, keeping what matters and softly sweeping away what doesn't. If you've ever woken up with a solution to a problem you couldn't solve, or suddenly remembered where you left your keys, you've already felt this mysterious work at play. Scientists have found that during sleep, especially the deeper stages, new connections form, and old ones are gently pruned back, making space for new ideas and memories. It's a bit like dreaming your way through a garden at night, trimming, planting, and quietly letting things grow. But the story doesn't end with biology. Some researchers believe sleep has its roots deep in evolution, a gentle ritual passed down through eons. Long ago, when life was even more unpredictable than it is now, sleep may have protected our ancestors from wandering into danger, kept them hidden through the darkest hours, or simply conserved precious energy when food was hard to find. Whether you're a human, a bird, or a lizard, there's something comforting about the idea that the urge to sleep is as old as the stars themselves. So tonight, as you relax and listen, think of sleep as more than a necessity. It's a nightly experiment in healing, learning, and letting go, a quiet surrender to the gentle rhythms of nature. In a way, every bedtime is an invitation to join the grand, ancient science of rest, and to trust that while you dream, the world is softly remaking itself, one quiet breath at a time. Somewhere deep within you, beneath your thoughts and beyond your willpower, a quiet orchestra plays. These are your circadian rhythms, the gentle timekeepers that shape your days and nights. Even before the first clock ticked in a human village, your body was following a more ancient schedule set by the rising and setting of the Sunday. These inner rhythms are so steady and reliable that they guide everything from your heartbeat to your temperature, from the way you feel hungry to the moment you begin to feel sleepy. Imagine that your brain holds a tiny conductor, a cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or SCN for short. This little bundle sits quietly above your eyes, right where the nerves from your retinas cross. It listens to the light coming in, measuring each sunrise and sunset, and uses that information to nudge your entire body into sync with the world outside. As morning light grows, the conductor signals your body to wake up, raises your temperature, and sends a gentle pulse of alertness through your mind. In the evening, as daylight fades and the sky grows softer, those same rhythms slow your heartbeat, cool your body, and release a cascade of sleepiness. The world outside and the world inside move together, like partners in a gentle dance. This daily pattern is not unique to humans. Every creature with eyes and cells obeys the same laws of light and darkness. Flowers open and close on cue. Birds wake and sing before dawn, and even the lowliest bacteria have their own subtle cycles. The entire planet turns in time to this music, with the sun as its conductor. There is comfort in knowing that, as you fall asleep, somewhere on the other side of the world, someone else is waking up to the same silent beat. Circadian rhythms are not rigid. They flex and shift with the seasons and the changing length of the day. In the winter, when mornings are slow and sunrises are shy, your rhythms may pull you toward extra sleep. In summer, with sunlight pouring through the curtains at dawn, your body may rouse itself earlier, eager to join the new day. Jet lag, that strange drowsy confusion that follows a long journey, is nothing more than your inner clock trying to catch up with the sky outside. Even a single bright screen before bedtime can nudge these rhythms, tricking your brain into thinking the sun is still shining and keeping sleep just out of reach. Some people have clocks that run a little faster or slower than the usual 24 hours. There are night owls, who thrive after midnight, and early birds, who wake before the world. Each of us carries a slightly different tempo, but the music is always there, guiding our days and shaping our nights. The science of circadian rhythms is a gentle reminder that you are part of something bigger, a biological tradition older than memory, woven from sunlight and darkness. As you settle in tonight, remember that you are drifting through the same ancient dance as every other living thing, rocked by the rhythm of the turning world. As the last light of day slips away and evening settles in, your body begins a secret alchemy. Somewhere deep inside your brain, a tiny pinecone-shaped gland called the pineal wakes up and begins to work its quiet magic. This is the home of melatonin, the sleepy stardust molecule that brings night to your mind and gently guides you toward rest. Melatonin's story is as old as life, itself woven into the DNA of everything that sleeps, from humans to the tiniest plants. It is the signal the body uses to mark the true beginning of night, and every evening, as shadows grow longer, your pineal gland releases a little more of this invisible messenger into your bloodstream. The effect is both subtle and profound. Melatonin acts as the gentle hand that dims the lights in the theater of your mind. As it rises, your body temperature lowers, your heart rate softens, and your eyelids begin to feel pleasantly heavy. You may notice a gentle wave of calm, a small sigh that tells you it is time to let the world grow quiet. Scientists sometimes call melatonin the hormone of darkness, not because it brings anything to fear, but because it thrives in the absence of light. Even a flicker from a phone or a bedside lamp can hold it at bay, reminding your body of daylight and postponing that gentle invitation to sleep. The cycle of melatonin is part of the great circadian dance, but it is also shaped by your own daily rituals. As the sun sets and the sky deepens, your eyes sense the falling light and quietly relay the message to your brain. In response, the pineal gland begins to spin its sleepy potion, and the tide of melatonin begins to rise. For most people, this gentle wave reaches its peak in the middle of the night, keeping you resting and dreaming until the first hint of dawn. When the morning comes and sunlight filters through your curtains, the signal changes. The pineal gland slows down, melatonin fades away, and your body prepares for a new day. But melatonin is not just about sleep. It also helps to regulate the rhythms of hunger, mood, and even the immune system. It is a kind of caretaker, quietly tending to the night shift while the rest of your body repairs and recharges. In this way, the science of sleep becomes almost poetic, with melatonin as the silent narrator, coaxing the story forward. If you have ever found yourself drowsy on a long, dark, winter evening, or wide awake after a late-night stroll beneath bright lights, you have felt the secret influence of this molecule at work. So tonight, as you prepare for rest, think of melatonin as a quiet friend sprinkling a little cosmic dust over your thoughts. It is there to help you let go of the day, to ease you into the gentle mystery of dreams, and to remind you that in the science of sleep, every nightfall is a beginning as well as an end. Let yourself welcome that darkness and allow the sleepy stardust to do its work. If you step outside just as twilight settles and the air cools, you might notice something quietly wonderful. The flowers close their petals, leaves begin to droop, and the garden itself seems to exhale. It is easy to think of sleep as a human thing, reserved for creatures with beds, blankets, and nighttime rituals, but nature herself is filled with secret sleepers. Plants, for all their silent stillness, follow the same ancient rhythms that guide us, surrendering to their own kind of nightly rest. The story begins long before electricity or streetlights, before humans ever gazed up at the stars and wondered. Deep within every leaf and stem, tiny biological clocks tick steadily, listening for the fading of light and the gentle chill of nightfall. As darkness arrives, these clocks signal the plant to slow down. Petals curl inward, folding away the day's colors. Broad leaves tilt and close, sealing in moisture and warmth. Some even lower themselves gently toward the ground, as if bowing to the coming night. Botanists call these movements nyctinasti, a name that captures the dance of opening and closing, reaching and resting. At first glance, it may look like nothing more than a quiet gesture, but hidden within is a sophisticated chemistry. Certain cells within the plant swell and shrink depending on the balance of light and darkness. This change in pressure gently moves the leaves and petals, all orchestrated without a brain or a nervous system, guided only by the wisdom written in their genes. This nightly rest is not just for beauty. For the plant, it is a way to protect itself. Closing up at night keeps out the cold, shields delicate parts from dew or frost, and can even discourage nighttime visitors who might nibble on soft petals or leaves. Some flowers, like morning glories or tulips, open only when sunlight returns, revealing their brightest colors to the day and saving their energy for when pollinators are awake. In tropical forests, massive leaves will fold and droop to shed the weight of nighttime rain, ready to rise again with the morning sunday. What is quietly remarkable is that these plant sleepers are ruled by the same circadian clocks as animals. When kept in perfect darkness, many plants still open and close on a 24-hour cycle, showing that their inner clocks remember the pattern of days and nights. Experiments have shown that even cut flowers, placed in a vase far from any window, will continue their gentle dance for several days, faithfully bowing and rising to an unseen Sunday. As you lie in bed tonight, you are not alone in your rest. All around you, in forests and gardens and city parks, millions of leaves and petals are settling into sleep, guided by rhythms as old as the earth itself. Somewhere, a sunflower droops its golden head. A water lily closes tight above a moonlit pond. Sleep is not a privilege of animals, but a gift shared by the entire living world. Let that thought settle gently as you drift off, wrapped in the same quiet night as every dreaming flower. Far above your head, beyond the gentle sweep of clouds and the faintest shimmer of auroras, the solar system carries on with its own slow cosmic rhythm. It is easy to imagine the planets and moons as tireless, endlessly turning wheels, never pausing, never tiring. Yet even in the far reaches of space, there is a kind of sleepiness, a cycle of rest woven into the motion of worlds. Every planet, every moon, every ring of dust and ice follows its own quiet schedule of darkness and renewal. The solar system itself is a place where night always falls, and even the grandest worlds pause for their version of slumber. Picture Saturn, with its pale golden rings arching silently across the blackness. Here, a day lasts just over 10 hours, but night comes quickly and often. As Saturn spins, sunlight sweeps across its cloud tops, then retreats, and the planet's night side is bathed in a calm blue-black shadow. In this chilly gloom, the temperature drops and storms quiet. The famous rings themselves cast long, delicate shadows across the planet's surface, drawing curtains of darkness that shift and move with the seasons. Even Jupiter, the king of the planets, slows its furious storms and deepens its colors as it turns away from the sun, cooling beneath its own thick bands of cloud. The moons are even sleepier in their own ways. Imagine drifting above the frozen plains of Europa, one of Jupiter's many companions. When the sun dips below the horizon, Europa's surface chills to hundreds of degrees below zero, and everything stills. Farther out, Neptune's largest moon, Triton, endures nights that last for years, lit only by the soft blue glow of distant sunlight and the occasional sweep of starlight. Here, sleep is measured not in hours but in seasons, with each cycle of darkness bringing deep, slow changes to the ice and thin air. It isn't only the large and famous worlds that rest. Small bodies, like asteroids and comets, follow sleepy orbits that take them from the warmth of the sun into cold, quiet darkness for years at a time. When comets return, they wake up in a flurry of activity, trailing luminous tails across the sky, only to slip back into hibernation as they head once more into the deep. Even the sun has its version of rest. Every 11 years, it moves through a quiet phase, with fewer sunspots and a softer wind, before waking again in cycles that shape the space weather felt across the entire solar system. This cosmic rest and renewal touches everything, from magnetic fields to drifting clouds of gas. In the gentle ballet of celestial mechanics, there is always a time for calm, a pause between orbits, a moment when the stars themselves seem to catch their breath. As you lie in your own bed, turning towards sleep, remember that you are part of this immense family of cycles. Planets, moons, and comets are all guided by a kind of cosmic sleep. The universe itself, for all its brilliance and wonder, is not always awake. Somewhere in the darkness, even the grandest worlds are dreaming. As you drift between waking and sleep, a curious transformation begins inside your mind. The worries of the day grow lighter, thoughts start to unravel, and a gentle strangeness sweeps in. you slip quietly into dreams, that peculiar inner world where the laws of logic melt away and anything becomes possible. Here, in the private theatre of your sleeping brain, you might find yourself flying above rooftops, speaking in languages you never learned, or wandering through landscapes stitched together from forgotten memories. Night after night, everyone becomes both an audience and an actor in this secret production. But why do we dream at all? For centuries, dreams were considered messages from the gods, riddles to be solved, or wild adventures conjured by the soul. Today, science has brought us closer to understanding what happens during these nightly journeys, but a touch of mystery still lingers. As you sleep, your brain does not shut down. Instead, it comes alive in a new way. Electrical activity pulses through the dark, weaving stories that are vivid, emotional, and sometimes more creative than anything you could invent while awake. Dreams, it turns out, are not just random noise. They are the mind's way of processing, sorting, and gently experimenting with the experiences of the day. Researchers have found that dreams are most vivid during a stage called rapid eye movement, or REM sleep. During this time, your brain is as active as it is when you are awake, but your body lies still and safe, kept motionless by a special signal from the brainstem. Inside this dreaming state, the mind becomes a gentle scientist, testing out new ideas, making connections between distant memories, and even rehearsing solutions to problems you may not have noticed. Some of history's most creative thinkers have claimed to find inspiration in their dreams, from the tune of a song to the answer for a tricky puzzle. It is as if your mind keeps working while the rest of you drifts, solving mysteries behind closed eyes. But dreaming is not only about solving problems, it is also about feeling. Many dreams are packed with emotion, joy, curiosity, sometimes a little fear, all stirred together in ways that seem both familiar and strange. Scientists believe dreams help us process feelings, sort out what matters, and let go of what does not. If you have ever woken from a dream with your heart beating fast, or your mind wrapped in wonder, you have felt this secret science in action. No one knows for certain why the brain prefers to work in riddles at night, but perhaps there is a reason for dreams to remain mysterious. They invite you to rest in the unknown, to accept uncertainty, and to find comfort in stories with no clear ending. Every dream is a chance to explore, to wander freely through the quiet corners of your mind, and to let imagination lead the way. Tonight, as you close your eyes and wait for the first gentle tug of sleep, remember that dreaming is the mind's way of saying it is safe to let go. Somewhere just beyond your reach, a new story is waiting to unfold, as magical and as real as anything in the waking world. In the quiet places of the world where the wild things sleep, there is a gentle choreography that unfolds each night. Every animal, from the tiny field mouse, burrowing beneath the roots to the mighty elephant standing watch on the savannah, has invented its own way to rest. The science of animal sleep is a tapestry woven from need, danger, and the soothing rhythm of the earth. Unlike the predictable world of bedrooms and alarm clocks, sleep in the wild must always balance comfort and caution, making each nap or deep slumber a little miracle of survival. Imagine a flock of birds perched high in the branches as twilight deepens. Some birds, like swallows, huddle together for warmth, closing their eyes in perfect trust. Others, such as ducks, rest along the edge of a pond and keep one eye open, their brains cleverly divided so that half remains alert while the other half sleeps. This gentle trick is called unihemispheric slow-wave sleep, and it allows them to sense approaching danger while still gathering the rest they need. Dolphins and some seals have mastered the same art, floating quietly at the water's surface, one half of their brain awake to steer and breathe, the other softly dreaming beneath the waves. Beneath the snow, in burrows carved from soft earth, small mammals curl tightly into balls, their hearts slowing to a steady pulse. Here, sleep is often short and light. A vole or a rabbit cannot afford the luxury of deep, careless dreams, for the shadow of a fox might pass by at any hour. Instead, these creatures wake and doze in short bursts, always ready to spring into the safety of darkness if startled. In the Arctic, where day and night can stretch for weeks, reindeer and polar bears adjust their sleep to the turning of the seasons, resting whenever they can in the endless light or deep winter gloom. Even the giants of the animal world have their own sleepy rituals. Elephants in the wild sleep less than you might expect, often standing upright to doze beneath the stars. Sometimes they lie down for a deeper sleep, but only when they feel safe and sheltered by their herd. Giraffes sleep in scattered moments, their necks gently draped along their backs, catching a few precious minutes at a time. Out at sea, whales and orcas drift on gentle currents, closing their eyes and floating in blue silence, each breath slow and deliberate. Insects, too, find time for rest. Bees hang from the edges of flowers, legs hooked delicately to petals, their bodies still as if held in the palm of night. Even the restless housefly will pause, wings folded, for a moment of insect sleep before sunrise calls it back to motion. Every animal is an experiment in rest. Each has learned, in its own way, how to let go and find peace, even when the world around is uncertain and wild. The next time you listen to the night and hear the distant call of an owl or the gentle sigh of wind through grass, remember that somewhere nearby, a heart has slowed, a body has grown heavy, and another quiet mind has surrendered to sleep. Imagine climbing into bed and feeling yourself slowly float upward, your body becoming lighter until the blankets seem to drift around you. This is not a dream, but the strange reality for astronauts living in the silent world of space. Above the spinning Earth, where gravity barely tugs at their bodies, the art of sleep takes on a new dimension. There is no true up or down. Instead, astronauts must invent new ways to find comfort and rest, learning to let go in an environment where every object, even themselves, can glide through the air with the smallest nudge. On the International Space Station, bedtime is a curious ritual. Astronauts slip into sleeping bags that are secured to the wall or sometimes to the ceiling, for in microgravity there is no difference. Their arms and legs float gently in the air. If they are not fastened in place, they might bump into a window or gently ricochet from one side of the small cabin to the other. So, they secure themselves with soft straps, a gentle cocoon that keeps them from drifting away while they sleep. The sun rises and sets every face. 90 minutes in orbit, painting the station in golden light, then plunging it into darkness again and again. This unending cycle could confuse even the most reliable inner clock, so astronauts carefully maintain a schedule, following Earth's time to give their bodies the illusion of a familiar day and night. Each astronaut has a private sleeping pod, about the size of a small closet, where they can close the door, dim the lights, and let the world outside fade away. Inside, the gentle hum of machines is a constant lullaby, the soft whoosh of air and the distant whir of fans replacing the sounds of rain or crickets. Falling asleep without gravity is both peaceful and a little strange. There is no pressure against the mattress, no weight to settle the body into place. Some astronauts describe the feeling as floating in a warm bath or drifting on a cloud. Others say it can be difficult at first, as if the body forgets what it means to rest without the pull of Earth. Over time, most grow used to this lightness, and some come to cherish it. They stretch out, arms floating gently, and let the sensation of weightlessness carry them into dreams. The science of sleep in space is not just about comfort. Rest is as important for astronauts as it is for anyone on Earth. Without enough sleep, the mind grows foggy, reaction times slow, and even simple tasks become difficult. The body too needs its nightly repairs, whether on the ground or in orbit. Astronauts track their sleep closely, keeping logs and wearing monitors to make sure they are getting enough rest. As you close your eyes tonight, grounded by gravity and held by the familiar weight of your blankets, think of those quiet dreamers far above. In the soft dark of space, surrounded by the hush of stars, sleep becomes a small floating miracle. No matter where you are, the need for rest connects us all, and somewhere an astronaut is drifting off, rocked gently by the turning of the Earth below. There is a special kind of sleep that visits in the middle of the day, arriving softly like a patch of afternoon sunlight falling across your face. A nap can be as brief as a few heartbeats or stretch luxuriously into the quiet hours when the world feels slower and lighter. For some, it is a necessity, for others, a stolen pleasure. Yet, behind its simplicity, the science of naps is a gentle marvel tucked into the rhythms of life, much like the pauses in a favorite song. Throughout history, people have embraced the nap in many forms. In warm countries, when the midday sun climbs high and shadows shorten, whole villages may grow hushed as families close their eyes for a while, letting the heat pass and energy return. Even in the busiest cities, there are those who nod off at their desks or sneak a few minutes of peace on a park bench. Children nap as naturally as they breathe, surrendering to sleep with a grace that adults sometimes forget. Scientists have found that the benefits of a nap are more than just a feeling of relief. When you doze, even for a short while, your brain enters a miniature cycle of sleep, dipping briefly into the same gentle waves that visit at night. During this time, the mind sifts through memories, strengthens the connections that matter, and lets go of clutter that has gathered since morning. A nap does not need to last long to work its magic. Sometimes, just 10 or 20 minutes is enough to restore clarity, sharpen attention, and bring a sense of brightness to the rest of the day. There is a particular sweetness to waking from a nap, that moment of floating between dreams and waking, when the world seems softer and every sound carries a faint echo. Some people worry that napping might make it harder to sleep at night, but scientists say that most healthy adults can nap without disturbing their deeper rhythms, especially if the rest is brief and timed before late afternoon. The body seems to know what it needs, asking for rest in a gentle whisper, rather than a demand. Other creatures are champions of the nap. Cats are famous for sleeping much of the day, curling up in sunbeams with an enviable calm. Horses rest standing up, their bodies swaying gently as their muscles take turns holding them upright. Even wild lions and meerkats nap in the shade, their breaths slowing as they find safety in the quietest hours. Nature, it seems, has made room for little pockets of rest everywhere, woven through the pattern of waking and sleeping. So, if you find yourself drowsy in the afternoon, letting your head sink into your hands or your eyelids fluttering closed, know that you are part of a tradition as old as time. The science of naps is a kind of permission slip from nature, an invitation to let go for just a moment. A nap is a small, beautiful experiment in renewal, as ordinary as breathing and as miraculous as waking up to the gentle promise of a new day. Somewhere in the vast reaches of the universe, far from the golden warmth of our own sun, night falls on a truly cosmic scale. For all its brilliance, the universe is filled with darkness. There are entire regions where stars have burned out, their light faded into memory, leaving behind only a whisper of what once was. This is a kind of night that makes even the longest winter evening feel brief, a darkness so deep that it seems endless. Astronomers call these places dark nebulae or cosmic voids, but for the dreamer, they are simply the sleepy corners of the cosmos where the stars have gone to rest. Imagine a galaxy where millions of stars once danced in luminous spirals. Over countless ages, the largest stars lived their bright, short lives, exploding into supernovae and scattering heavy elements across space. Smaller, steadier stars carried on, burning for billions of years before quietly dimming, shrinking down into white dwarfs or cooling into invisible embers called black dwarfs. Eventually, even these faded away, and what remains is a vast expanse of darkness, a cosmic lullaby that signals the end of one story and the beginning of another. These dark regions are not empty, though they may seem so at first glance. They are filled with cold gas and dust, swirling in silence, waiting for the next chapter to begin. Sometimes, a passing wave of gravity, or the shock from a distant explosion, will disturb this slumber, causing clouds of dust to collapse and new stars to awaken. In this way, even the darkest night in the universe is never truly final. It is only a pause, a gathering of energy before creation begins again. Closer to home, the cycle of cosmic nightfall is echoed by familiar sights. Every evening, as the sun sinks below the horizon, a tiny echo of the universe's grand darkness sweeps across your own sky. The stars begin to appear, each one a reminder that light and darkness are forever trading places both on Earth and across the galaxy. During a new moon, when the night is deepest, the sky becomes a tapestry of memory, lit by distant suns whose light has traveled for years to reach you. Some of that starlight may be the last breath of a dying star, a soft and silent farewell from a world that has gone dark. Yet, even in the loneliest reaches of space, darkness is not a thing to fear. It is a gentle emptiness, a space where new stories wait to unfold. In the silence of cosmic night, comets drift undisturbed, planets keep their silent watch, and the universe itself seems to breathe. If you find yourself gazing up into a midnight sky, wondering what lies beyond, you are looking into the same ancient mystery. The darkness is not a sign of ending, but of possibility, a vast sleeping cradle for whatever wonders may come next. As you settle into your own quiet night, know that you are a part of this great cycle. Somewhere, stars are still being born. Elsewhere, galaxies have drifted into their long, dreamy slumber. The universe is always changing, always resting, always ready to awaken again. Some nights, as you drift into dreams, there comes a quiet moment when you realize you are dreaming. The colors may be brighter, the world a little stranger, and yet you know with a gentle certainty that none of it is quite real. This rare state is called lucid dreaming, and it is one of the most curious experiences the human mind can offer. In a lucid dream, you become the scientist of your own sleep, aware enough to watch your thoughts, ask questions, and sometimes even shape the story as it unfolds. Researchers are still exploring the mysteries of lucid dreams. For some people, these dreams arrive naturally, as if the mind occasionally sends a friendly reminder that what is happening is only a private theatre of the night. Others learn to invite lucid dreams with gentle practice, training themselves to notice small details in their dreams, or to ask a simple question: am I awake or am I dreaming? With patience, the brain can learn to recognize the strange logic of dreams, and a doorway opens to a world that is both wild and somehow under your control. In this dreamy laboratory, the rules of waking life gently fade. You might fly above rooftops, breathe underwater, or step through walls as if they were nothing but mist. Some people use lucid dreams as a space for gentle adventure, creating landscapes from memory or pure imagination. Others find comfort in the ability to solve problems or soothe fears, turning nightmares into curious puzzles to be explored rather than dangers to be avoided. The brain's creativity blooms in this space, offering solutions and ideas that sometimes carry over into waking life. Scientists have discovered that during a lucid dream, certain parts of the brain become active in ways that resemble waking thought. The dreamer may have more awareness and memory, able to reflect on experiences or even remember real-life goals. Yet, the body remains deeply relaxed, safely tucked in bed, while the mind roams freely. Experiments have shown that some dreamers can even communicate with researchers by moving their eyes in special patterns while asleep, sending messages from the quiet landscape of dreams. Lucid dreaming is not always easy to achieve. It often takes a gentle patience, a willingness to let the mind wander and notice its own patterns. Simple techniques like keeping a dream journal or performing reality checks throughout the day can help the brain become more aware when dreaming. Over time, many people find that these efforts reward them with a new sense of wonder, a feeling of discovery that is as soft and strange as the dreams themselves. If you ever find yourself in a dream, gently floating through impossible places and suddenly realize you are dreaming, take a moment to look around. You have become the scientist and the explorer, wandering through a landscape shaped by your own mind. In this gentle world, curiosity is the only compass you need. When you finally wake, you may find a quiet joy, knowing that even in sleep, your mind can become a place of discovery, creativity, and peaceful adventure. There is a quiet magic in a yawn, a sleepy ripple that passes from person to person, sometimes sweeping through a whole room with gentle inevitability. You may have noticed it yourself, sitting among friends or family, when one person sighs, stretches, and suddenly everyone else feels the urge to do the same. A yawn arrives with little warning, mouth opening wide, lungs filling with air, eyes growing damp and bright. For a moment, the world seems to slow, as if pausing for a collective breath. It is such a simple act, and yet behind it lies a story as old as animal life itself. Scientists have studied yawning for centuries, searching for its meaning and purpose. While there is still some mystery, what we do know brings a quiet delight. Yawning is not only a sign of tiredness, though it often visits as the day grows long or after a night of restless sleep. Some believe it is the brain's way of gently cooling itself, drawing in fresh air and stirring the fluids that surround it. Others see it as a reset button, a way for the body to transition from one state to another, helping you move from wakefulness to rest or from sleepiness back to alertness. Whatever the reason, a yawn feels like a bridge, connecting moments of change in the day's gentle rhythm. What makes yawning truly curious is its contagious nature. The sight or even the thought of a yawn can inspire one in someone else, a soft echo that travels through classrooms, offices, and living rooms. Even reading about yawning, as you are now, may have prompted the urge in you. This sleepy science suggests a quiet form of empathy, a way for humans and some animals to connect without a single word. When you catch a yawn from another, your brain's mirror neurons are at work, allowing you to feel a little of what others feel, deepening social bonds in the simplest of ways. Yawning is not just a human trait. Chimpanzees, dogs, and even certain birds and reptiles share the habit. A dog may yawn when its owner does, a gentle gesture of trust and companionship. In flocks of birds, a wave of yawning can spread quietly, as if the entire group is settling into a shared peace before sleep. This sleepy ritual hints at a common language, a thread of connection that ties together creatures large and small. For many, yawning brings a secret comfort. It signals a moment to pause, to rest, to let the day's busyness melt away. There is no hurry in a yawn, no pressure to move quickly. It is an invitation to let yourself relax, to listen to what your body needs, and perhaps to join others in a moment of easy, unspoken understanding. So, the next time a yawn slips up on you, allow yourself to welcome it. Feel the stretch in your jaw, the cool air filling your lungs, and the subtle softness that follows. In that gentle moment, you are joining a timeless, universal ritual, a sleepy contagion that binds us all, quietly and kindly, to one another. When the sky grows heavy and the first drops of rain begin to tap gently at the window, a special kind of calm settles over everything. The world outside blurs into silver and grey, and the air fills with a cool, earthy scent. For many people, rain is more than just weather. It is a lullaby, soothing the mind and inviting the body to rest. Even as thunder rumbles far away and lightning briefly brightens the room, there is something in the rhythm of storms that makes sleep come easier, as if nature itself is singing a bedtime song. Scientists have long been curious about why the sounds of rain and distant thunder make us drowsy. The answer is partly about biology and partly about memory. The steady hush of rainfall creates what is known as white noise, a gentle wall of sound that masks the sudden creaks and pops of the nighttime world. Without those sharp surprises to stir us awake, the brain feels safer, more at ease, and ready to slip into the slower rhythms of sleep. The mind recognizes the pattern and relaxes, as if the world outside has been wrapped in a soft, watery blanket. Thunder, despite its boldness, can be oddly comforting too, especially when it stays far off. The slow build and gentle fade of a storm's voice mimic the patterns that lull babies and adults alike, rocking us into a state of peaceful surrender. Some researchers believe that our love of rain and storms goes back to childhood, or even deeper, to our earliest ancestors. Safe inside a cave or tucked beneath a thick canopy of leaves, people would have heard the rain as a promise of safety. No need to hunt, no danger lurking close, just the simple reassurance that water was near and the world was pausing for a while. The cool air that comes with rain plays its own sleepy trick. As temperatures drop, the body's own thermostat is gently nudged in the direction of rest. Wrapped in blankets or snuggled in bed, we mimic the comfort of a small animal curling up in a burrow listening to the world slow down. For some, these rainy nights bring the deepest, most peaceful sleep, while the storms outside seem to keep the worries of the day at bay. Music and sound machines often use recordings of rain for this very reason. The soft patter, the distant rumble, even the splash of water on leaves or pavement, all help create a sense of shelter and quiet. The brain, lulled by the repetition, lets go of its alertness and drifts toward dreams. If you ever find yourself lying awake, listening as rain sweeps over the roof and thunder sighs along the horizon, know that you are wrapped in an ancient science of comfort. Rain, with all its music and rhythm, is one of nature's most generous gifts to sleepers. Let the storm carry your thoughts away, and trust that as the world is gently washed clean, you too can drift into peaceful rest, safe and warm beneath the soothing spell of a rainy night. Beneath the restless waves, where sunlight barely glimmers and darkness settles like velvet, there is a world both alien and peaceful. Here, far below the reach of storms and tides, the deep sea is home to creatures that drift and wander in eternal night. At these shadowy depths, sleep is no less essential than it is on land, though it unfolds in ways as strange and wondrous as the life that calls the abyss home. Imagine a lanternfish drifting slowly through the blackness, its tiny body aglow with a soft blue light. Unlike animals that sleep above ground, this fish does not lie down or curl up in a nest. Instead, it rests while moving, slowing its rhythm until it seems to float in place, the ocean's currents rocking it gently. In the deep, sleep is rarely about shutting down completely. The world here is too mysterious, too full of surprises, for any creature to let go entirely. Instead, animals sink into quiet periods of rest, their bodies and minds letting down their guard just enough to recover, but never so much that danger might go unnoticed. Some deep-sea sharks are believed to sleep while still swimming, their muscles slowing but never fully stopping, their senses always half awake to changes in pressure and the passing shadow of a larger fish. Octopuses, clever and playful even in the darkest corners of the ocean, curl their arms and settle into a gentle doze, their skin flickering with soft colors. Scientists have watched as these colors ripple in their sleep, hinting at dreams beneath the waves, where the octopus might revisit the coral maze or the silent hunt for a crab. The deep sea is also the realm of giant squids, glowing jellyfish, and ancient eels, each with its own answer to the puzzle of rest. Here, there is no sunrise or sunset to signal the time for sleep, only the slow pulse of the Earth's turning and the faint glow of drifting plankton. Biologists believe that many deep-sea creatures rely on internal rhythms, a memory of day and night carried within their cells, guiding them through cycles of activity and stillness even in endless darkness. For all its strangeness, sleep in the abyss serves the same quiet purpose it does on land. It is a time for healing, for energy to be restored, for the mind to quietly organize memories of the day, even if the day is nothing more than a few hours spent hunting in the cold black water. The deep sea is patient, everything moves slowly here. Sleep is not a hurried escape, but a drifting surrender to the gentle rhythm of the underworld. As you close your eyes tonight, imagine that somewhere, miles beneath the surface, a little lanternfish rocks in the invisible tide, dreaming its deep blue dreams. The science of sleep is everywhere, reaching into the darkest corners of the ocean, gently reminding us that every living thing, no matter how strange or far away, finds its own way to rest beneath the endless hush of the sea. In the glow of our modern world, where screens flicker and machines hum quietly in the background, even our technology seems to have learned the wisdom of rest. Computers, phones, and all manner of digital companions pause their work each day, slipping into states that closely mimic the science of sleep. When you close your laptop and watch the screen darken, or when your phone dims itself and sighs into silence, these are echoes of a nightly ritual as old as life itself. The science behind these pauses is both simple and remarkable, built on lessons drawn from the rhythms of nature. Engineers call it standby mode, a gentle resting state that saves energy and preserves the life of a machine. Like the first moments after closing your eyes, computers slip into a lighter phase of activity. They slow their circuits, dim their lights, and pause unnecessary processes. In this state, the machine is not truly off, just waiting. If you reach out, a single touch will bring it back to full alertness, ready to continue as if no time has passed at all. In many ways, standby is to computers what light sleep is to us, a way of staying ready for the next request, without burning through all the resources that constant activity demands. As our world became more connected, the need for energy conservation became clear. The longer a device can pause and rest, the less energy it uses, and the longer its working life will be. Even huge data centers, those vast humming forests of servers that quietly keep the internet running, rely on cycles of activity and sleep. Servers may go quiet when demand drops, waking only when needed, while others slip into a deeper form of rest known as hibernation. During hibernation, a computer saves its memory to disk, then powers down almost entirely, as if entering a deeper, dreamless sleep. Only when the time is right does it awaken, returning to full awareness with every memory perfectly in place. These quiet periods are not just for energy. Just as sleep allows our bodies to repair and reset, computers use their resting hours to organize data, update their inner workings, and clear away the digital clutter that builds up through busy days. Overnight, a device may run gentle routines to clean up memory, organize files, or even heal small errors. These maintenance cycles are the technological version of the brain's nighttime housekeeping, softly keeping things in order so that everything runs more smoothly in the light of day. It is easy to think of machines as tireless, endlessly working without need for pause, but the wisdom of sleep has crept into their design. Even our technology needs a chance to rest, to save its strength, and to prepare for whatever tomorrow brings. The next time you close your computer or silence your phone, imagine for a moment that you are sharing a quiet ritual with your digital companion. You both need your sleep, and somewhere inside the hum of circuits and code, there is a peaceful, silent space where the world grows quiet and everything is ready to begin again. There are moments during the night when the boundary between waking and sleeping grows thin, and the mind's quiet experiments become unexpectedly vivid. One of the strangest mysteries of sleep is the phenomenon known as sleepwalking. It begins without warning, in the deep hours when the body should be still and the mind at rest. Yet, sometimes, the sleeping brain forgets to keep its body tethered, and feet begin to move through darkened rooms, while dreams play quietly in the background. Sleepwalking is a puzzle that has fascinated both scientists and storytellers for centuries. It usually arises during the deepest stage of non-REM sleep, when the body is supposed to be anchored by gentle chemical signals that keep muscles relaxed. For reasons still not fully understood, those signals sometimes falter. The brain stays mostly asleep, lost in a dreamlike state, but certain areas wake just enough to allow movement. Eyes may open, legs may swing over the edge of the bed, and a gentle wanderer rises into the silent house, guided by instincts and patterns rather than conscious thought. A person who sleepwalks may perform simple actions, walking down a hallway, opening doors, even whispering to the darkness, or moving objects from one place to another. Sometimes the eyes appear open and focused, but the sleepwalker is lost in a world between worlds, barely aware of what is happening. In the morning, there may be no memory at all, only the quiet surprise of finding a book in a new place or a blanket folded on the wrong chair. Children are more likely to sleepwalk than adults, perhaps because their brains are still learning the delicate dance of sleep's many phases. It is usually harmless and fades with age, though it can sometimes continue into later years or appear during times of stress or change. Scientists think genetics may play a role, with sleepwalking often running gently through families. Changes in sleep schedules, fever, or even a full moon may encourage a nighttime ramble, though most of these connections remain quietly unproven, adding another layer to the mystery. What is most remarkable is how carefully the body protects the sleepwalker. Despite moving through familiar spaces, the sleeper rarely trips or collides, guided by an unconscious map of the home that is more felt than seen. Some sleepwalkers even find their way back to bed without waking, returning to dreams as if nothing unusual has happened at all. For those who live with a sleepwalker, the best advice is simple. Keep the environment safe, doors gently locked, and sharp corners padded where possible. If you ever wake to find yourself wandering in the night, know that you are not alone. Sleepwalking is a reminder of how much there is still to learn about the mind's nighttime journeys. As you settle in for sleep tonight, remember that the brain's quiet mysteries are always at work. Whether you stay nestled in place or take a gentle midnight stroll, the science of sleep is there, weaving its silent stories, keeping you company until morning light finds its way in. Each night, as you slip into sleep and let go of the day's worries, a remarkable process quietly unfolds within your mind. While your body is resting and your breathing slows, your brain remains busy in the soft dark, sifting through memories and piecing together the story of your life. This nightly work is so gentle you might not feel it happening at all, but it is essential to who you are. Sleep is not only for rest, it is the time when your mind becomes a careful archivist, sorting, filing, and weaving together the fragments of experience that make up your world. During the deepest stages of sleep, your brain reviews the memories you gathered through the day. Some are quietly tucked away for later, becoming part of the vast collection that shapes your sense of self. Others are gently set aside, details that no longer seem important, softly swept away like footprints in sand. Scientists have discovered that the brain uses this quiet time to strengthen important memories, reinforcing the connections between neurons while trimming away the weaker links that are no longer needed. It is a bit like tending a garden at night, nourishing the healthiest plants and letting the weeds fall back into the soil. Dreams often appear during this process, offering a strange and creative way for your mind to revisit, replay, or even reshape the day's events. Sometimes, a solution to a stubborn problem arrives while you dream, the answer blooming unexpectedly after a night's sleep. People who study the science of memory have found that students and artists, musicians and writers all benefit from this nightly renewal. Facts become clearer, skills become steadier, and the next morning often feels brighter and more open, as if the mind has swept the floors and opened the windows for a new day. But sleep's gentle magic does not end with facts and figures. Emotional memories are also tended, carefully sifted and understood by the dreaming brain. A disappointment or worry can feel lighter after a good night's rest, as if the mind has softened the sharp edges and found a way to heal. The science of sleep reveals that the mind is not simply a recorder of events, but a wise and patient storyteller, always working to make sense of your life. There is something deeply comforting in this quiet work. Even on nights when sleep feels far away or dreams are tangled, your brain is doing its best to help you grow, adapt, and thrive. Every memory tucked away, every worry softened, is part of a secret collaboration between body and mind, unfolding while you rest beneath your blankets. So, the next time you awaken feeling clearer, lighter, or quietly inspired, remember that sleep is not a pause, but a gentle laboratory. Each night, as you close your eyes and drift into dreams, your brain is working in the background, making you a little wiser and a little stronger for whatever comes next. Sleep is memory's pillow, a soft and silent place where learning finds its home. There is a peculiar kind of magic in waking up just before your alarm rings, as if your body somehow knew what time it was without the help of clocks or reminders. Many people have experienced this gentle surprise, opening their eyes a few minutes ahead of schedule, sometimes with a quiet sense of victory, sometimes with a feeling of having been gently nudged awake by something softer than sound. The science behind this small miracle is as fascinating as it is comforting, a reminder that your body keeps its own quiet time even when you are lost in sleep. Beneath your conscious awareness, a set of ancient mechanisms is always at work, keeping track of hours and minutes with astonishing precision. The secret lies in your internal clock, the circadian rhythm that guides your body through the cycles of day and night. As you go about your daily routine, this clock quietly adjusts itself, learning when you wake, when you eat, and when you settle in for the night. Over time, your body becomes familiar with these patterns, and the clock grows more confident in predicting what comes next. When you set an alarm for the morning, your mind takes note, even if you do not dwell on it before sleep. In the final hours before waking, your brain begins to prepare, gradually increasing levels of hormones that bring alertness and energy. One of the most important of these is cortisol, which rises in the early morning, making it easier for you to transition from sleep to waking. This subtle shift is often enough to lift you gently toward consciousness, just as the alarm is about to sound. Scientists have found that this quiet anticipation is even stronger for those who keep a regular schedule. The more consistent your bedtime and waking time, the more precise your internal clock becomes. In some studies, people who went to sleep and woke at the same times every day were much more likely to rise naturally just before their alarms. The body becomes a trusted timekeeper, measuring not just the passage of hours, but the flow of light, temperature, and routine. There is also a psychological element to this phenomenon. When you set an intention to wake at a certain hour, your mind registers this goal and quietly works in the background to make it happen. Some people find that even without an alarm, they can wake at the desired moment simply by deciding before sleep. It is as if the brain plants a gentle reminder, a soft tap on the shoulder in the grey light before dawn. Waking before the alarm does not always happen, and it is never a guarantee, but when it does, it is a small gift from the rhythms within you. It is a sign that your body and mind are in quiet harmony, working together to bring you back from dreams with the lightest touch. The next time you wake before the clock rings, allow yourself a moment of gratitude for the ancient wisdom at work in every cell, guiding you through the silent night and into the gentle promise of morning. Somewhere in the garden, as daylight slips away and the air cools, a quiet transformation unfolds among the plants. Leaves begin to droop, petals close around their hidden centers, and vines relax their gentle grip on fences and trees. This nightly ritual is not just for show, it is part of the plant's own sleep, a secret rhythm that connects the green world to the turning of the earth. Even though plants do not have brains or dreams in the way animals do, they respond to the coming and going of light with a choreography as old as the soil itself. Flowers like morning glories and tulips close their petals each evening, tucking themselves away from the chill and darkness. During the day, these same flowers open wide, stretching toward the sun, collecting its warmth and energy. As dusk arrives, the petals curl inward, forming a shelter that protects the delicate parts inside. This gentle folding and unfolding is guided by tiny biological clocks inside every cell, clocks that keep perfect time with the rise and fall of the sun, even if a flower grows in the shade or behind glass. The cycle goes on, night after night, a living calendar written in green and gold. Leaves, too, have their own sleepy movements. Some, like those of the prayer plant, lift themselves upward in the morning, reaching for the first light, then slowly lower again as dusk returns. The mimosa, sometimes called the sensitive plant, closes its leaves tightly at night as if wrapping itself in a small blanket. These changes are more than just beautiful, they help the plant save water, avoid cold, and protect itself from nighttime insects. Each tiny movement is a gentle decision, a balancing act that keeps the plant healthy as the world outside shifts between light and dark. The science behind these sleepy movements is called nyctinasty, a word that sounds as gentle as the process itself. Plants sense changes in light using molecules called phytochromes, which act as messengers, telling the cells when to grow, rest, or move. Even in total darkness, many plants keep their inner time, opening and closing on schedule for days at a stretch. Scientists have discovered that these cycles are deeply embedded, a quiet inheritance from the first plants that lived in ancient sunlit seas. Although plants may not dream as animals do, their nighttime rest is essential. During the dark hours, growth often slows, and the plant's energy is quietly shifted from stretching leaves and building flowers to healing and storing food. Some scientists have even found that plants remember changes in their environment, responding differently to light and touch as the days go by, a kind of plant memory woven from sunlight and time. So tonight, as you drift towards sleep, imagine the world outside growing softer and more peaceful. The flowers have closed, the leaves have settled, and the green world is resting under the same moon and stars as you. The science of plant sleep is another gentle reminder that all of life, from the smallest seedling to the tallest tree, keeps its own dreamy rhythm, night after night, season after season, in perfect harmony with the spinning earth. Night after night, while the world outside grows quiet and the pace of life slows, your body sets to work on its most delicate experiments. Sleep is more than a break from the day. It is a time when healing and renewal become the main focus, and every cell joins in a silent symphony of repair. Even as you lie still beneath blankets, the science of healing moves gently through every tissue, making the night a kind of laboratory that cares for you in ways you may never notice. Inside your body, billions of tiny tasks unfold with patient precision. Muscles tired from work or play are soothed and rebuilt, their fibers mended strand by strand. Skin cells quietly renew themselves, growing fresh and whole again, while the worries of the day fade into softness. If you have a scratch or bruise, the healing often accelerates while you sleep, as if the body saves its most careful repairs for the quietest hours. Immune cells patrol the bloodstream, seeking out anything out of place, fighting off germs with more focus and strength than during waking moments. This is why a good night's sleep is often the best medicine, bringing relief to sore throats, headaches, or the first aches of a cold. The mind too takes its turn in the nighttime laboratory. As your brain moves through its different cycles of sleep, it gently tidies up the chemistry that builds up while you are awake, sweeping away what is not needed and setting aside the raw materials for new thoughts and feelings. Scientists have discovered that deep sleep helps wash out toxins that can cloud thinking or slow down your mood. In these slow, dreamless hours, the mind is restored, sharpened, and made ready for the next day's adventures. Healing at night does not rush. Instead, it unfolds in waves, cycling through phases of light and deep rest. In the deeper stages, growth hormones are released, encouraging bones, muscles, and tissues to strengthen and recover. For children, these hormones help bodies grow taller, bones lengthen, and minds expand. For everyone, young or old, the night brings a gentle surge of renewal, as if every part of you is being stitched back together in a warm and quiet workshop. There is comfort in knowing that your body does not waste a moment of the night. Every breath you take while asleep, every beat of your heart, is part of a careful plan. The wisdom of sleep is so deep and complete that even small creatures, from field mice to towering trees, rely on their own versions of nighttime healing. The earth itself seems to rest, its energy returning in the cool hours before dawn. So, as you prepare to rest, trust that your body is doing its finest work, not only in building memories and dreams, but in making you whole again. Each night is a gentle experiment in renewal, a quiet period where science and nature work hand in hand. You are the beneficiary of this ancient care, and every morning is proof of the night's patient, invisible healing. When night falls and the moon climbs high, many find their thoughts turning to its cool silver glow. The full moon, especially, seems to watch over the sleeping world with a quiet kind of magic. Some say that sleep grows restless beneath its gaze, dreams turn strange, or minds wander longer before drifting into rest. These old ideas have traveled through centuries, shared in stories, and whispered among families. But is there a science behind the moon's effect on sleep? Researchers have tried to answer this question by watching people sleep on moonlit nights and on those when the sky is dark. Some studies found that people took a little longer to fall asleep when the full moon was bright and bold. Their sleep was sometimes lighter, and dreams seemed to gather more vivid colours and stories. Others found no change at all, suggesting that the moon's power over sleep might be gentler and less direct than the stories suggest. One reason the moon might seem to wake us is simple: light. A full moon, when it hangs low and bright, can shine almost as powerfully as a street lamp through an uncovered window. This soft, cool light may reach your pillow and slip beneath your eyelids, tricking your brain into believing it is not quite time to rest. The body's inner clock is guided by darkness, with the hormone melatonin rising when night falls, bringing drowsiness and quiet. A little extra moonlight may slow this gentle tide, keeping you awake just a little longer or nudging your dreams in new directions. Beyond the science, the moon stirs something deeper. For thousands of years, people have gathered to watch it rise, to share stories beneath its glow, and to wonder what secrets travel with its changing face. In ancient times, farmers planted crops by moon phases, and poets wove silver moons into lines about love, longing, and dreams. It is possible that, simply knowing the moon is full, we pay more attention to the way we sleep, remembering restless nights and vivid dreams that might have happened with or without its company. Animals, too, notice the moon. Birds and insects sometimes change their songs or hiding places, waiting for the safety of darkness to return. Sea turtles time their journeys to the ocean by moonlight, and wolves lift their heads to sing as the full moon rises. This quiet influence reminds us that we are part of a much larger family of sleepers, all touched by the turning of the sky. So tonight, if you find yourself wide awake, or if your dreams shimmer with moonlit images, let it be a comfort. The moon is a gentle companion, shining its light on sleepers everywhere, keeping watch through the long hours until dawn. Whether the science is strong or only softly suggestive, the moon's presence in the night sky is a reminder that the world is always in motion, always shifting between shadow and light. Sleep, like the moon, is a mystery to be welcomed, a cycle that returns again and again, silvered and silent beneath the stars. In some corners of the world, as the sun climbs high and the heat settles over rooftops and fields, everything seems to slow. The busy noises of morning fade into a hush, doors close, and the quiet promise of the afternoon siesta begins. This peaceful pause is an ancient tradition, woven into the daily life of many countries, from Spain to Greece, Italy to parts of Latin America and Asia. For some, it is a midday meal with family, laughter, and stories shared before the gentle permission to rest. For others, it is a nap in the shade, curtains drawn against the light, while outside the world seems to hold its breath. The science behind the siesta is as comforting as the ritual itself. In the early afternoon, our bodies experience a natural dip in alertness, a quiet signal sent by the same internal clock that guides us through the night. This is not just a result of a large lunch or the warmth of the day, but a gentle lull written into the rhythms of human biology. During this time, the mind grows dreamy and focus becomes harder to hold. A short rest, even just 20 minutes, can restore clarity, soften stress, and leave us feeling refreshed for the hours that remain. Children and elders everywhere seem to know this secret well. In many places, school children return home for a midday break, their laughter replaced by the gentle breathing of sleep. Grandparents, too, have always honored the wisdom of a nap, curling up in their favorite chair or hammock, letting the world outside drift by. The siesta is more than rest. It is a reminder that life does not need to rush, that there is time for both work and gentleness, both movement and quiet. For city dwellers with busy schedules, the tradition can be harder to find, yet the need remains. In recent years, some offices and universities have created quiet spaces for midday naps, recognizing that a short rest can boost creativity and health in ways coffee cannot. Even a walk in a shady park or a few moments spent with closed eyes at a desk can offer a taste of the siesta's peaceful spirit. The natural world, too, seems to honor the art of resting in the heat. Animals in warm climates often retreat to burrows, shade, or still waters during the brightest part of the day, saving their energy for the cooler hours to come. Plants fold their leaves or slow their growth, waiting for the sun to sink before unfurling once again. To pause for a siesta is to step gently out of the stream of time, letting worries and tasks settle for a while. The world will still be there when you wake. In those soft moments of rest, the mind weaves fresh connections, the body repairs itself, and the heart finds a little more room to breathe. Whether you nap beneath a tree, on a quiet bed, or in a patch of sunlight at home, you join a tradition as old as humanity, a simple science of kindness to yourself. Let the afternoon grow gentle. Let sleep visit if it will. The siesta is a gift, a reminder that in the quietest hours, healing and peace often find their way in. In the world of babies, time moves at its own mysterious pace. Tiny eyes open to the soft light of a new morning, only to flutter closed again not long after, drifting back into a world of dreams. Newborns and infants spend more of their lives asleep than awake, cocooned in quiet wonder as their bodies and minds grow at a pace that can hardly be believed. To watch a baby sleep is to witness a gentle miracle, a nightly story of growth, renewal, and beginnings. The science of why babies sleep so much is as fascinating as it is tender. From the moment of birth, every cell in a baby's body is multiplying, dividing, and learning. The brain, especially, is racing to build trillions of connections, forming the foundation for all the discoveries to come. First smiles, first steps, first words. During sleep, growth hormones are released in abundance, fueling the lengthening of bones, the stretching of muscles, and the blooming of new neural pathways. Each nap is a session in the quiet workshop of life, a time when the body lays down the scaffolding for everything the baby will someday be. Sleep is not just about growing bigger. For babies, it is also how the mind learns to make sense of the world. The brain sorts and organizes the experiences of each waking moment, weaving them into memory, emotion, and skill. One day, a face may seem unfamiliar. The next, after a good sleep, that same face brings a smile of recognition. New sounds, colors, and touches are softly gathered and filed away, ready for the next morning's discoveries. Infant sleep follows its own rhythm, cycling rapidly between light and deep stages. Babies spend much of their sleep in REM, the dreamy phase, where the eyes flicker beneath closed lids and the brain hums with activity. In this stage, the mind is at its most creative, replaying and reshaping the day's sights and sounds. Some scientists believe that this abundance of REM sleep is part of why babies learn so quickly, absorbing the world at a rate that slows as childhood passes and adulthood arrives. For parents, the sleep of a baby is both a blessing and a challenge. Nights may be interrupted by gentle cries, the need for warmth, food, or a comforting touch. Yet each moment of rest brings new strength to both child and caregiver. Over time, babies begin to stretch their sleep through the night, slowly finding a rhythm that matches the world around them. The early months are a lesson in patience, trust, and the beautiful messiness of growing up. If you listen closely to a baby's breathing as they sleep, you may hear the quiet wonder of nature at work. In those hours, the science of sleep becomes a lullaby of growth, a song as old as time itself. Let it be a comfort to know that every dreamy sigh, every soft yawn is part of a story of life just beginning. In sleep, babies gather the strength to meet each new day, bringing with them the endless possibility of tomorrow. In our ever-connected world, sleep sometimes finds itself tangled in the web of time zones and shifting schedules. The sun rises in one country as it sets in another, and millions of people travel or work through the hours when their bodies expect to rest. Jet lag and night shifts are the gentle adversaries of our inner clocks, inviting a quiet confusion into the usually smooth rhythms of sleep and wakefulness. Imagine a traveler soaring across continents, watching the land change from mountain to ocean to city, all in a matter of hours. As the plane lands in a place where day has become night, the mind feels awake, but the body quietly insists that it is still the middle of yesterday. This sensation, known as jet lag, is the result of the circadian rhythms falling out of sync with the world outside. Your inner clock, set by sunlight, temperature, and habit, is suddenly asked to adjust to a new time, and it takes several days for all the tiny processes in your body to catch up. The same gentle struggle is faced by those who work through the night while most of the world sleeps. Nurses, factory workers, and pilots live by schedules that challenge the natural ebb and flow of hormones and energy. The brain signals wakefulness at odd hours, and sleep arrives when the sun is shining, making it harder to reach the deep restorative stages of rest. For many, the result is a kind of dreamy fog, a body longing for the comfort of darkness while the world bustles on in the bright light of day. Scientists have found that the key to adjusting to new time zones or overnight work is gentle, gradual change. Sunlight is the most powerful guide. By stepping outside in the new morning, even if you feel tired, you help your body begin to shift its rhythms. Small routines, a meal at local time, a short walk in the daylight, and a consistent bedtime signal to your mind and cells that it is safe to adjust. Melatonin, the sleepy hormone, may help some travelers and shift workers find their footing, though nothing replaces the wisdom of patience and a few quiet nights of rest. Animals, too, experience the strange effects of time shifts. Birds that migrate across the globe must reset their clocks in new lands, just as travelers do. Even plants, when moved to a different environment, take a few days to adjust the timing of their flowers and leaves. Nature is full of gentle reminders that the body is always listening for the cues of light and shadow, meal and movement, sleep and waking. If you ever find yourself awake in a strange city, or sleepy when the world around you is wide awake, take comfort in knowing you are not alone. The science of sleep is full of stories about adjustment, resilience, and the quiet power of time. With each passing sunrise and sunset, your inner clock finds its place again, slowly falling back in step with the spinning earth. In that gentle return to balance, rest becomes possible, and the dream of a peaceful night is never far away. Beyond the familiar stars and the quiet turning of our own planet, there are galaxies scattered across the universe, each one a collection of suns, planets, clouds, and mysteries. These cosmic cities are as varied as the dreams of sleepers on Earth, but some, even the grandest, eventually grow quiet. Astronomers call these sleeping galaxies or quenched galaxies, and their story is as peaceful as it is profound. A galaxy begins with a flurry of activity, full of young, hot stars that burn with brilliant light. Clouds of gas and dust swirl, new suns are born, and entire solar systems take shape. This vibrant era can last for billions of years, a cosmic springtime where the galaxy is alive with energy. Over time, though, the material that fuels new stars slowly runs out. The largest, brightest stars live fast and burn out quickly, leaving behind glowing embers and sweeping winds that clear away the very gas needed for new beginnings. When the clouds of star-making dust are gone, a galaxy's pace slows. Fewer and fewer stars are born, and the ones that remain grow old, cooling and fading into gentle red and orange glows. This is the quieting of a galaxy, the gentle approach of cosmic sleep. From afar, such a galaxy looks soft and smooth, like a silvery cloud, no longer spangled with blue clusters of new stars. The heart of the galaxy becomes a place of rest, where starlight is dim and shadows deepen. Yet, even in this state of cosmic rest, the galaxy is not truly empty or finished. Some sleeping galaxies hold secrets at their centers, such as massive black holes that quietly gather and release energy. Others collect new gas as they drift through space, waking again when they meet a neighboring galaxy, sparking fresh rounds of starbirth in bursts of bright light. Like the cycles of sleep and waking in our own lives, galaxies drift between periods of activity and stillness, never truly ceasing, always changing, with the slow patience of the universe. Astronomers study sleeping galaxies by watching their light, measuring the colors and shapes that reveal their age and state. They see the soft red glow of ancient stars, the cool halos of invisible matter, and the faint whisper of energy that lingers even in the deepest silence. By tracing these cosmic patterns, scientists learn about the history of the universe, how stars and planets formed, and what happens when the raw material for life runs thin. In many ways, the fate of sleeping galaxies is a gentle reminder of the rhythms that shape all things. Just as night follows day, and every living thing seeks its time of rest, so too do galaxies move through cycles of waking and sleeping. They remind us that there is beauty in quietness, that rest is a natural part of existence, and that every ending is a soft beginning for something new. As you prepare to sleep tonight, let your mind drift outward for a moment. Somewhere, far beyond the edge of sight, entire galaxies are resting, their ancient stars glowing softly in the deep night of space. The universe is always dreaming, always waiting, and always ready for its next gentle awakening. And so, as we reach the end of our sleepy science wandering, I hope you feel a little softer around the edges, a little lighter, as if your thoughts have grown wings for dreaming. Whether you're wide awake or already adrift on a quiet current of sleep, know that the mysteries of night and the wonders of science will still be here when you wake. Remember, every creature sleeps, even the smallest leaf and the largest galaxy. You are part of that gentle rhythm, a universal experiment in rest, repair, and imagination. May your dreams tonight be full of stars and rain, quiet, discoveries, and cosmic lullabies. Sleep well, curious friend, rest easy, and may tomorrow greet you with wonder, with warmth, and with just a hint of stardust left over from the story. Good night, from Sleepy Science Story.